The divorce papers arrived on my 30th birthday, delivered by courier to my front door with a pink sticky note attached. Happy birthday, dear. It read in Monica's perfect cursive handwriting. My hands trembled as I held the envelope, still standing in the doorway of the mansion I'd called home for the past 5 years. My name is Cassandra, and this was my mother-in-law's idea of a birthday present. I walked to the kitchen counter, my heels clicking against the marble floor, each step echoing in the empty house. Warren, my soon-to-be ex-husband, hadn't been home in 3 days. Working late, he'd said, but we both knew better. My phone buzzed. Speaking of the devil, Monica's name flashed across the screen. Did you receive my little surprise? Her voice dripped with false sweetness. You really outdid yourself this time, I replied, keeping my voice steady despite the rage building inside me. Most people just send flowers. Oh, darling, I thought it was time to stop pretending. You never did fit into this family, did you? Warren needs someone more suitable. I gripped the counter until my knuckles turned white. Someone you can control, you mean? I'll expect you to vacate the house by the end of the week. Do try to leave it in better condition than you found it. The line went dead. I slammed the papers down and grabbed a bottle of wine from the rack, one of Monica's precious imports. As I poured myself a glass, my phone buzzed again. Unknown number this time. Hello? Happy birthday, sis. Heard Mommy Dearest finally made her move. I nearly dropped my glass. Gemma? The one and only black sheep of the Palmer family. She laughed, but there was an edge to it. Listen, I know we've never been close, but I think it's time we had a chat. I have some information you might find interesting. I took a long sip of wine. I'm listening. Not over the phone. Meet me at the Blue Room in an hour. Trust me, you'll want to hear this in person. After hanging up, I headed upstairs to change. In the master bedroom, I opened my closet to find half of it already emptied. Warren's clothes gone without a word. Something caught my eye at the back of his side, a old leather briefcase I'd never seen before, partially hidden behind a shoe rack. Inside, I found stacks of documents, yellowed with age, bank statements, letters, and what looked like private investigator reports. As I skimmed through them, my heart started racing. Names I recognized jumped out at me, along with numbers that made my eyes widen. My phone buzzed again, Gemma reminding me of our meeting. I quickly photographed several pages, stuffed the briefcase back where I found it, and grabbed my purse. Before leaving, I stood in front of the giant mirror in the foyer, the one Monica had gifted us for our wedding. I wiped away the mascara smudges under my eyes and reapplied my lipstick. The woman staring back at me wasn't the same one who'd walked down the aisle 5 years ago, starry-eyed and naive. Game on, Monica, I whispered to my reflection. The Blue Room was nearly empty when I arrived. Gemma sat in a corner booth, her wild red hair a stark contrast to the Palmer family's perfectly polished appearance. She stood when she saw me, revealing ripped jeans and a vintage t-shirt that would have given Monica an aneurysm. Well, if it isn't my favorite sister-in-law, she said, pulling me into an unexpected hug. Though I guess we won't be in-laws much longer. I'm your only sister-in-law, I replied, sliding into the booth. Not true. There's Felicity, but she's about as interesting as watching paint dry. Gemma signaled the waiter. 2 martinis, extra dirty. She turned back to me, her expression suddenly serious. So, tell me about the papers Monica served you. How did you even know about those? I make it my business to know what that woman is up to. Gemma leaned forward. But more importantly, what did you find in Warren's closet? I stared at her. How did you... Because I'm the one who left that briefcase there. She smiled, but it wasn't friendly. It was calculating. I've been waiting for the right moment and the right ally. Monica thinks she can just throw people away when they don't fit her perfect picture. It's time someone showed her what that feels like. The waiter arrived with our martinis. I took a long sip, studying Gemma's face. What exactly are you proposing? Simple, she said, raising her glass. We're going to tear down everything Monica holds dear, her reputation, her social standing, her perfect family facade, and we're going to use those documents to do it. I clinked my glass against hers, Monica's cruel smile flashing in my mind. Tell me more. You want to know why I was really cut off? Gemma asked, spreading the documents across her apartment's coffee table. It wasn't because I dropped out of law school like Monica told everyone. I sat cross-legged on her floor, surrounded by paper trails and old photographs. The contrast between Gemma's cozy, artistic loft and the Palmer mansion couldn't have been starker. Here, paint-splattered canvases lined the walls, and the air smelled of coffee and oil paints instead of Monica's suffocating designer perfume. I found these, Gemma continued, pulling out a stack of letters. Monica had been embezzling from Dad's company for years. When I confronted her, she gave me a choice: keep quiet and play along or get cut off. I chose option 3, told her to go to hell. But Killian, your dad, he must have known? Gemma laughed bitterly. Dad's been under her thumb since before I was born, but that's not even the best part. She handed me a manila envelope. Open it. Inside were surveillance photos dated 15 years ago. Monica, significantly younger but unmistakable, in intimate situations with a man who wasn't Killian. Holy shit, I whispered. That's Richard Martinez, Dad's former business partner. The affair lasted 3 years. When he threatened to tell Dad, she orchestrated his complete financial ruin. He died in a car accident 6 months later. My hands shook as I set down the photos. Are you suggesting? I'm not suggesting anything. I'm just saying Monica will stop at nothing to protect her perfect image. Gemma stood and walked to her kitchen. Want something stronger than coffee? Before I could answer, my phone lit up with Warren's name. Where are you? He demanded when I answered. Mother says you haven't started packing. Your mother can... Don't, he sighed. Just come home. We need to talk. Now you want to talk? After serving me divorce papers through your mother on my birthday? Silence on his end. That's what I thought. I hung up. Gemma returned with 2 glasses of whiskey. Warren being Warren? He's always been her puppet. I accepted the glass. How did you get all this evidence? I had help. She pulled out her phone and dialed. Actually, he should be here any minute. Right on cue, there was a knock at the door. Gemma opened it to reveal a tall man with glasses and a messenger bag. Cassandra, meet Terrence. He's an investigative journalist and an old friend. He's been helping me build this case for years. Terrence sat down, immediately pulling out his laptop. The affair photos are just the beginning. I've traced money transfers through shell companies, found witnesses to Monica's threats against Richard, and uncovered at least 3 other families she's destroyed to maintain her position. We need your help, Cass, Gemma said. You're on the inside. You have access to the house, to Warren's office, to their social circle. I took a long sip of whiskey. What exactly do you need me to do? There's a safe in Killian's study, Terrence explained. According to our sources, it contains documents that could prove everything. The embezzlement, Monica's involvement in Richard's death, all of it. The combination? That's where it gets interesting. Gemma smiled. It's your birthday. I stared at her. What? Monica's so arrogant. She used your birthday as the combination, to remind herself of the day she planned to destroy you. Ironic, isn't it? My phone buzzed again. A text from Felicity this time. Mother's worried about you. Don't do anything rash. I showed the message to Gemma, who rolled her eyes. Felicity, ever the faithful soldier. If we do this, I said slowly, there's no going back. We'd be declaring war. They declared war when they tried to throw you away like garbage, Gemma replied. We're just finally fighting back. Terrence began laying out a plan, explaining how we'd need to time the revelations for maximum impact. As he talked, I noticed a familiar look in his eyes when he glanced at Gemma. There was definitely history there. The annual Palmer Foundation Gala is in 3 weeks, I said. Everyone who's anyone will be there. Perfect, Terrence typed rapidly. We'll need to move fast. Can you get into that safe tomorrow? I thought about Monica's smug face, about Warren's weakness, about 5 years of subtle humiliation and calculated cruelty. I'll do better than that, I said. I'll get into it tonight. Warren's at his club and Monica and Killian are at some charity dinner. Gemma grinned. Now that's what I call initiative. As we gathered our things, I caught my reflection in Gemma's window. The woman looking back wasn't a victim anymore. She was a hunter. One question, I said as we headed out. Why did you wait until now to bring me in? Gemma paused at the door. Because now you have nothing left to lose, and that makes you dangerous. The mansion's security system beeped as I entered my code. 3 weeks left before I'd lose access completely, according to Monica's timeline. I moved silently through the darkened house, my phone flashlight guiding the way to Killian's study. You're in? Gemma's voice crackled through my earpiece. Just reached the study. I closed the door behind me. Where exactly is this safe? Behind the hunting portrait. Classic rich people hiding spot. I smirked, lifting the heavy oil painting of Killian in his hunting gear. The safe was exactly where she said it would be. My fingers trembled slightly as I input the numbers. 0315. The mechanism clicked. I'm in, I whispered, pulling the heavy door open. There's a lot here, Gemma. Start with anything related to Richard Martinez. I began pulling out folders, photographing everything with the special app Terrence had installed on my phone. Suddenly, lights flooded the room. I froze. What exactly are you doing in my father's study? Warren stood in the doorway, still in his business suit, his face unreadable. Warren, I breathed, my heart pounding. I thought you were at your club. Clearly. He stepped into the room, closing the door behind him. Are those my mother's banking records? They're evidence of your mother's crimes. I straightened up, refusing to act guilty. Did you know about Richard Martinez? His face paled slightly. How do you know that name? Your mother had him killed, Warren, after their affair, after he threatened to expose her. That's ridiculous. It was a car accident. I spread the surveillance photos across Killian's desk. Warren's hands shook as he picked them up. This can't be real, he muttered. It is, and there's more, so much more. I pointed to the stack of documents. Your mother has been embezzling money for years. She's destroyed families, Warren, and now she's trying to destroy me. He sank into his father's leather chair. Gemma's helping you, isn't she? Cassandra? Gemma's voice crackled in my ear. What's happening? Yes, I told Warren. She is. He ran his hands through his hair, a gesture so familiar it made my heart ache. I always knew something was wrong. The way Mother treated Gemma, the way she... He looked up at me. The way she treated you. Then help us expose her. She's my mother, Cass. And I'm your wife. Was your wife. I gathered the documents. You have a choice to make, Warren. Just like Gemma did. You can keep enabling your mother's corruption, or you can finally stand up to her. Heavy footsteps echoed in the hallway. We both froze. Warren, Killian's voice called out. Is that you in my study? Warren grabbed my arm and shoved me toward the hidden door behind the bookcase, the one that led to the service stairs. Go, he whispered. I'll handle this. I slipped through just as Killian entered the room. Son, what are you doing here so late? Just needed some contracts, Dad, for the Martinez property development. My heart pounded as I crept down the stairs, clutching the photographed evidence. I could hear Gemma breathing rapidly in my ear. Cass, are you okay? I'm fine, I whispered. But Warren knows. Shit, can he be trusted? I don't know. I reached my car and slid inside. But he let me go. Get to Terrence's place, now. We need to process what you found. 30 minutes later, I sat in Terrence's home office, watching him scroll through the photos on his computer screen. His eyes widened. This is bigger than we thought, he said. Monica wasn't just embezzling from the company. She was running a full-scale money laundering operation through the Palmer Foundation. The charity? I leaned closer. Look at these transfers. He pointed to a series of numbers. Millions moving through shell companies, then getting donated to the foundation, only to disappear into offshore accounts. Can you prove it's illegal? With these documents, absolutely. He sat back. This could send her to prison for decades. My phone buzzed. A text from Warren. We need to talk, alone. Tomorrow morning, our spot in the park. Warren wants to meet, I told them. Gemma grabbed my arm. It could be a trap. Mother could be setting you up. No, I said, remembering the look in his eyes when he saw those photos. He's struggling. This might be our chance to bring him to our side. Or he could warn Monica, Terrence pointed out. I have to try. I stood up. He deserves a chance to choose the right side. Like you chose? Gemma asked softly. I thought about the divorce papers, about Monica's smug smile, about years of subtle degradation. No, I replied. Like you did, when you walked away with your integrity intact. Gemma hugged me fiercely. Be careful tomorrow. Monica's not the only dangerous one in that family. I nodded, but my mind was already on tomorrow's meeting. Warren had always been our weak link, the one person who might still have a conscience under years of his mother's manipulation. Tomorrow would show us who he really was. The morning air was crisp as I approached our bench by the duck pond. Warren was already there, wearing his running clothes, just like he used to during our early morning meetups before Monica decided I was distracting him from his responsibilities. "You came alone?" he asked as I sat down. "Did you?" He nodded, tossing breadcrumbs to the ducks. "Mother's in crisis mode. Someone leaked information about the foundation to her. She's been making calls all morning. And you're here instead of helping her." I studied his profile. "Why?" "Because I keep seeing those photos in my head." He crushed the empty bread bag. "Richard was like an uncle to me. He used to take me fishing, taught me how to drive. Then one day he was just gone. Your mother—" "Don't." He stood abruptly. "I need to show you something. Come with me?" I hesitated. "Where?" "My office. There's something you need to see." 20 minutes later, we walked into the empty Palmer Corp building. Warren's corner office still had my touches, the art pieces I'd picked out, the plants I'd chosen. He went straight to his desk and pulled out a thick folder. "I found these last night after you left. I stayed up reading them." He spread the contents across his desk. Bank statements, transfer records, everything Mother did. But there's more. He pointed to several documents. "Dad's signature is forged on these. I know because I've been forging it for years under Mother's instructions. She told me it was to simplify things, to help the company run smoothly." "Warren, I'm complicit, Cass, in all of it." His voice cracked. "Every document I signed, every meeting I sat through nodding like a good son. I helped her build this house of cards." The door opened suddenly. Felicity stood there, her perfect blonde hair and designer suit a stark contrast to our tense atmosphere. "What's she doing here?" Felicity's eyes narrowed at me. "Warren, Mother's been trying to reach you." "Not now, Felicity." "Yes, now." She stepped in, closing the door. "The foundation is under scrutiny. We need to present a united front." "United in covering up crimes?" I asked. "Crimes?" Felicity laughed, but it sounded hollow. "Is that what you're telling him? More lies to manipulate my brother?" "Show her," I told Warren. He hesitated, then handed Felicity the photos of Monica and Richard. She flipped through them, her face draining of color. "These are fake," she whispered. "They're not." Warren's voice was gentle. "You remember Richard fell. You remember how he disappeared." "No." She threw the photos down. "Mother wouldn't, she couldn't." "She did." I stood up. "And now she's trying to erase me, just like she erased him, just like she erased Gemma." "Gemma chose to leave," Felicity snapped. "Gemma chose the truth," Warren said quietly. "Maybe it's time we did too." Felicity's hands trembled as she gripped the back of a chair. "If this gets out, it will destroy everything. The company, our reputation, our lives." "Your mother's already destroying lives," I said. "How many more Richard Martinez's are out there?" Warren's phone buzzed, Monica's face lighting up the screen. He stared at it, then declined the call. "If we do this," he said slowly, "we have to do it right. We need proof that will stand up in court." "We have proof," I said, "but we need your testimony too, both of you." Felicity sank into a chair. "She's our mother." "And she's a criminal," Warren replied. "We have to decide what matters more, protecting her or protecting justice." His phone buzzed again. This time it was a text from Monica. "The vultures are circling. Where are you? We need to handle this now." "She's planning something," Felicity said, reading over his shoulder. "She always has a contingency plan." "Then we need to move faster," I replied. "The foundation gala is in 2 weeks. Everyone who matters in this city will be there." "You want to expose her publicly?" Felicity looked horrified. "It's the only way to make sure she can't bury it," Warren said. "You know how she operates, Fel. If we give her any warning, any chance to spin this, she'll destroy everyone involved," Felicity finished. She stood up, smoothing her skirt. "I need time to think." "We don't have time," I said. "Your mother's already moving to contain this. We have to decide now." Warren and Felicity shared a look, the kind only siblings can share, loaded with years of shared secrets and understanding. "I'm in," Warren said finally. Felicity closed her eyes, took a deep breath, and nodded. God help us all. As if on cue, all our phones buzzed simultaneously. Monica had called an emergency family dinner for tonight. Well, I said, gathering the documents, looks like the game is starting sooner than we planned. The Palmer Mansion's dining room felt like a powder keg waiting to explode. Monica sat at the head of the table, perfectly composed in her designer dress, while Killian occupied his usual spot at the other end, already 3 glasses deep into his scotch. So nice of you all to join us, Monica said, her smile not reaching her eyes. Even you, Cassandra, though I believe we discussed your living arrangements. You discussed. I never agreed. I took a seat next to Warren, noting how his hand trembled slightly as he reached for his water glass. Now then, Monica continued, we have a situation that requires immediate attention. Someone has been spreading malicious rumors about our foundation. Rumors? Felicity's voice quavered slightly. What kind of rumors? Nothing that can't be handled with the right approach. Monica's eyes fixed on me. The question is, who would have access to such sensitive information? The servant brought in the first course, Monica's favorite lobster bisque. No one touched their spoons. Perhaps, I said, meeting her gaze, someone finally decided to tell the truth about Richard Martinez. The silence that followed was deafening. Killian's glass stopped halfway to his mouth. That name, Monica said softly, dangerously, is not to be mentioned in this house. Why? Warren spoke up, his voice stronger than I expected. Because of what you did to him? Warren. Monica's composure cracked slightly. What has she been telling you? Nothing that isn't documented in your own records, Mother. Monica's laugh was sharp. Oh, I see. You've all been conspiring behind my back. How disappointing. She dabbed her lips with her napkin. Killian, dear, perhaps it's time we showed them the other documents. Killian cleared his throat. Monica, I don't think... The ones about Warren's little indiscretion with his secretary last year? Or Felicity's abortion in college? Monica's smile turned cruel. We all have secrets, don't we? Are you threatening your own children? I asked incredulously. I'm protecting this family, as I always have. She stood walking around the table. Everything I've done has been for this family's legacy, and I will not let any of you destroy it. By any means necessary. Warren's voice was quiet. Like you destroyed Richard? He was going to ruin everything, Monica snapped. Just like you're trying to do now. All of you, ungrateful children who don't understand what it takes to maintain our position. My phone buzzed in my lap. A text from Gemma. Terrence just got the final proof. It's all ready for the gala. Are you safe? The gala, Monica said suddenly, making me jump. That's your plan, isn't it? To humiliate me in front of everyone? She laughed. Do you really think I haven't prepared for every contingency? Even prison? Felicity asked, surprising us all. Monica's face hardened. No one's going to prison, dear, because none of you are going to breathe a word of this to anyone. Are we clear? Or what? Warren stood up. More accidents? More lives destroyed? Sit down, Killian ordered, finally finding his voice. No, Dad, I won't sit down. Not anymore. Warren pulled out his phone. I recorded everything you just said, Mother. About Richard, about threatening us. All of it. Monica's mask slipped completely. You wouldn't dare. Try me. Warren's hand was steady now. The Foundation Gala is in 10 days. You have until then to confess everything to the board, or we'll do it for you. This is how you repay me? Monica's voice shook with rage. After everything I've sacrificed for you? You sacrificed others for yourself, I said, standing up. There's a difference. Monica moved with surprising speed, grabbing my arm. You turned my children against me. No, Monica, Felicity said, rising. You did that all by yourself. Warren gently but firmly removed his mother's hand from my arm. We're leaving now, all of us. And if anything happens to any of us before the gala, that recording goes straight to the press. As we walked out, Monica's voice followed us. You'll regret this, all of you. In the driveway, Felicity burst into tears. Warren held her while I texted Gemma. It's done. But Monica's threatening everyone. We need protection. Already handled, came the reply. Terrence has copies of everything in multiple secure locations. Any move against us triggers automatic release to every major news outlet. Warren looked over my shoulder at the message. Smart. Gemma learned from the best, I said, watching Monica's silhouette in the dining room window. She learned from your mother how to always be one step ahead. 10 days, Felicity whispered, wiping her eyes. What do we do for the next 10 days? We stay alive, Warren said grimly, and we pray Mother doesn't find another way to silence us all. As we drove away, I caught one last glimpse of the mansion in my rearview mirror. Monica still stood in the window, watching us leave, looking more like Lady Macbeth than the society queen she pretended to be. The endgame had begun. The Palmer Foundation gala sparkled with wealth and pretense. Crystal chandeliers reflected off designer gowns and diamond necklaces as the city's elite mingled in the grand ballroom. Monica stood at the center of it all, resplendent in red, playing her role as the perfect hostess. She looks confident, Gemma muttered beside me, adjusting her black dress. Too confident. Of course she does, I replied, accepting a champagne flute from a passing waiter. She thinks she's won. The past 10 days had been a masterclass in psychological warfare. Monica had frozen Warren's accounts, sent private investigators to follow Felicity, and even tried to have me arrested for trespassing at the mansion. But we'd been ready for everything. Terrence is in position, Gemma said, touching her earpiece discreetly. The press is already gathering outside. I watched Monica work the room, stopping to chat with the mayor, laughing with bank executives. Warren stood near the stage, reviewing his speech cards, while Felicity hovered near the bar, downing her second martini. Ladies and gentlemen, Monica's voice rang out over the microphone. Welcome to our annual Foundation Gala. Tonight we celebrate 30 years of giving back to our community. That's quite a speech, a familiar voice said behind me. I turned to find Killian, looking older than I'd ever seen him. Shame about the timing. You could still stop this, I said quietly. He took a long sip of scotch. You know, Richard was my best friend. The night of the accident, Monica told me she'd handled a problem. I never asked what she meant. He met my eyes. I've spent 15 years not asking questions. And now I'm too tired to keep pretending. He handed me an envelope. Bank records, the originals. Do what you need to do. Before I could respond, he walked away, disappearing into the crowd. And now, my son Warren will say a few words about our exciting new initiatives, Monica concluded, gesturing to the stage. Warren approached the podium, his face pale but determined. I slipped the envelope to Gemma, who immediately passed it to Terrence at his hidden position near the service entrance. Thank you, Mother, Warren began. You're right. Tonight is about truth and legacy. Monica's smile flickered slightly. The Palmer Foundation has indeed touched many lives, Warren continued, though not in the ways you might think. Richard Martinez's life, for example. The room grew quiet. Monica took a step toward the stage. Warren, dear, she called out, her voice honey-sweet, perhaps we should focus on our achievements. Like the $70 million laundered through fake charities, Warren's voice grew stronger, or the systematic destruction of anyone who threatened to expose the truth. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Phones started appearing, recording everything. Security, Monica snapped, but Gemma was already blocking the guard's path, along with several plainclothes FBI agents we'd coordinated with. The truth, Felicity's voice rang out as she joined Warren on stage, is that our mother built this foundation on blood money and blackmail. How dare you? Monica lunged for the stage, but I stepped in her path. It's over, Monica, I said quietly. You think you've won? She grabbed my arm, her perfectly manicured nails digging into my skin. I still have enough dirt to bury all of you. No, you don't. Gemma appeared beside us, holding up her phone. Check your private server. Everything's gone. Backed up to our secure locations, of course. Monica's face contorted with rage, just as camera flashes began exploding from the entrance. Terrence had timed the press perfectly. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, Warren's voice boomed over the speakers. We have evidence of decades of financial fraud, money laundering, and criminal conspiracy, including documentation related to the death of Richard Martinez. Monica screamed, a primal sound of fury and defeat. She lunged at me again, But this time, federal agents were faster. Monica Palmer, one announced, "You're under arrest for fraud, money laundering, and conspiracy to commit murder." As they led her away in handcuffs, she locked eyes with me. "I should have destroyed you the day Warren brought you home." "You tried," I replied. "You failed." The ballroom had erupted into chaos. Reporters shouted questions. Photographers' flashes lit up the room, and society ladies clutched their pearls in shock. Through it all, I watched Killian sitting alone at the bar, finally looking free of a weight he'd carried for decades. Gemma squeezed my hand. "We did it. Was it worth it?" I asked, watching Monica's red dress disappear through the doors. "Ask me tomorrow," she replied. "Tonight we drink." Warren and Felicity joined us, both looking shell-shocked but relieved. "Mother always said the Foundation Gala was about making headlines," Felicity said with a weak laugh. "Well," I raised my champagne glass, "here's to giving her exactly what she wanted." Outside, the press crews were setting up for live broadcasts, ready to tell the world how the mighty Palmer Empire had fallen. But in that moment, surrounded by my unlikely allies, I felt nothing but peace. The truth, as they say, had finally set us free. The morning after the gala, I sat in Terrence's office watching the media frenzy unfold across multiple screens. Every news channel showed Monica's arrest on loop, interspersed with photos of Richard Martinez and infographics detailing the Foundation's fraud. "They're calling it the scandal of the decade," Terrence said, tossing another newspaper onto his desk. "The FBI's investigation is expanding by the hour." Warren walked in, looking exhausted in his rumpled suit. "They're questioning Dad now. He's telling them everything." "How are you holding up?" I asked. "Better than Felicity. She's at home with her anxiety medication. The press won't leave her doorstep." He collapsed into a chair. "Mother's lawyers are already working on bail." "She won't get it," Gemma said, entering with coffee cups for everyone. "The evidence is too strong and she's a flight risk." My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. My heart stopped when I opened it. "You took everything from me. Now watch your own life burn." "Monica has friends in high places," Warren said, reading over my shoulder. "Powerful friends." As if on cue, Terrence's TV screens erupted with breaking news. My photo appeared alongside headlines. "Palmer whistleblower's dark past revealed." "Oh God," I whispered. The reporter's voice filled the room. "Sources close to the Palmer family have revealed that Cassandra Fox, the daughter-in-law who helped expose the Foundation scandal, has her own history of financial misconduct. Documents show multiple instances of—" "It's all lies," Warren interrupted, grabbing the remote. "Mother's trying to discredit you." "It's working," Terrence said grimly, scrolling through social media. "The story's going viral." My phone kept buzzing with messages from unknown numbers. Threats, insults, accusations. I turned it off. "We knew she'd retaliate," Gemma reminded us. "That's why we have this." She pulled out a USB drive. Every email, every message where Monica orchestrated smear campaigns against her enemies, including this one. Terrence plugged it in, his fingers flying over the keyboard. "Give me an hour. I'll trace these sources right back to Monica's allies." The door burst open. Felicity rushed in, mascara streaked down her face. "They're seizing everything. The houses, the cars, the company accounts, all frozen pending investigation." "Good," Warren said firmly. "Let them take it all. We don't need any of it." "Easy for you to say." Felicity collapsed onto the couch. "You have your own money. I've never worked a day in my life. What am I supposed to do?" "Start over," I said quietly, "like I'm going to have to do." My phone started ringing again. This time it was my boss. Former boss, probably, given the headlines. "The truth will come out," Terrence assured me, still typing frantically. "We just need to weather the storm." "There's more," Warren said, checking his phone. "Mother's lawyers are claiming we conspired to frame her. They're trying to drag us all down with her." "Let them try." Gemma stood up, pacing. "We have recordings, documents, witnesses. The FBI has everything. But the court of public opinion moves faster than the justice system," Terrence pointed out. "We need to get ahead of this." "How?" Felicity asked. "By telling our story first." He turned his laptop around, showing a draft article. "All of it. The abuse, the manipulation, the fear. Humanize ourselves before Monica can demonize us." "I'll do it," Warren said immediately. I'll give them the full story of growing up under her control. Me too, Felicity whispered. It's time people knew the truth about our perfect family. My phone buzzed one final time before dying. Another message from Monica. This is just the beginning. She's right, I said, staring at the black screen. This isn't over. No, Gemma agreed, but this time we're not fighting alone. Terrence's computer pinged. Got it. The smear campaign traces back to Jeffrey Williams, Mother's old friend from the country club. He's been coordinating with her lawyers. Then we go after him next, Warren said decisively. Every ally she has, every person helping her attack us, we expose them all. It's war, Felicity said softly. It's always been war, I replied. We just didn't know we were soldiers until now. Outside, reporters had found Terrence's office. Camera flashes strobed through the windows as they shouted questions. Ready to face them? Gemma asked, holding out her hand. I took it, feeling stronger with my unlikely family around me. Together? Warren grabbed his suit jacket. Together. As we prepared to face the media circus outside, I caught my reflection in the window. The woman looking back wasn't Monica's victim anymore. She was a survivor, a fighter, and she was ready for whatever came next. Let's show them what real strength looks like, I said, reaching for the door. The courthouse steps were packed with reporters as Monica was led out in handcuffs. Her designer suit had been replaced by prison orange, her perfectly styled hair now limp and graying. She held her head high, but her eyes told a different story. Guilty on all counts, Warren said beside me, his voice tight with emotion. 25 years. The mighty fall hard, Gemma murmured, squeezing my hand. Monica's eyes locked with mine as she passed. For a moment, I saw something I'd never seen before in them. Defeat. Then she was gone, swallowed by the waiting police vehicle. Ms. Fox, reporters shouted, how does it feel to be vindicated after the smear campaign? The truth speaks for itself, I replied, using the line Terrence had prepared. The evidence was clear. Back at Gemma's loft, we opened the champagne we'd been saving. Felicity arrived last, carrying a familiar leather briefcase. Found this in Mother's secret vault, she said, setting it down. There's something you should see, Cass. Inside was a file with my name on it. Documents dating back to before I met Warren. Background checks, surveillance photos, notes in Monica's precise handwriting. She was vetting you from the start, Felicity explained, looking for weaknesses she could exploit. But you know what she found? Nothing. It drove her crazy that she couldn't control you. Speaking of control, Warren pulled out an envelope. The divorce papers. I never filed them. I stared at the envelope. What are you saying? I'm saying I'd like to try again. Without Mother's influence, without the lies. He took my hand. The real us, this time. Warren, I started, but Gemma interrupted. Before you answer that, she said, there's something else you should know. She nodded to Terrence, who pulled out his laptop. The Foundation's legitimate charitable works, he said. They weren't all fake. Some of the programs actually helped people. I think we could rebuild it, the right way this time. We? Felicity asked. All of us, he replied. Clean slate, new board, total transparency. Use the Palmer name to do actual good for once. That would be the ultimate revenge, Gemma said with a smile. Taking everything Monica built for evil and turning it to good. My phone buzzed. A message from Killian. The house is yours if you want it. All of you. I'm moving to the lake house. Time for the next generation to build something better. So, what do you say? Warren asked softly. Partners? All of us? I looked around the room at these people who had become my real family. Gemma, fierce and loyal. Felicity, finding her strength. Terrence, with his unwavering integrity. And Warren, finally free to be himself. Partners, I agreed. But the divorce papers? Sign them. His face fell. Sign them, I continued. Because if we do this again, we do it right. New beginning, clean slate. We date, we take our time, we build trust. No shortcuts this time. He smiled, understanding dawning in his eyes. Deal. To new beginnings, Felicity raised her glass. And old endings, Gemma added, nodding toward the TV where Monica's conviction was still making headlines. You know she'll never stop, Terrence warned. Even from prison, she has connections. Let her try, I said. We're stronger together than she ever was alone. The sun was setting over the city, painting the sky in shades of possibility. My phone buzzed again, another message from an unknown number. But this time I didn't feel fear. I felt ready. First board meeting tomorrow? Gemma asked, already pulling out her tablet to take notes. First date tomorrow, Warren corrected, looking at me hopefully. Both, I decided. Business in the morning, pleasure in the evening. We're building something new here. Might as well start right away. To the new Palmer Foundation, Felicity raised her glass again, built on truth instead of lies. To family, Gemma added, the ones we choose. To justice, Terrence said. To second chances. Warren looked at me. I raised my glass, thinking of Monica in her prison cell, of Richard finally getting justice, of all the possibilities ahead of us. To karma, I said, may it always find its way home. Outside, the city lights began to twinkle, each one a reminder that darkness never lasts forever. We had survived Monica's reign, emerged stronger, and now stood ready to write our own story. Not an ending, but a beginning. And this time, we'd write it together.